This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And today is the only video for October the 19th. I don't have a birthday boy or girl lined up. So anyway, on October 19th, 1957, yes, it was 65 years ago. This moment is now a senior citizen. Well, if you're Canadian. Americans, they define it by 55. Rocket Richard, one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, became the first NHL player to hit 500 goals. So anyway, this is kind of a celebration of players who have hit their 500 goal because, 500 goals is nothing to sneeze at. Only 46, I think. Yeah, only 46 people in NHL history have hit the 500 mark. From 1957 to 2022, so in about 65 years, there have been 46 players. And all that. So that's amazing and all that. So in fact, it took till 1986 for a season to have two 500 goal scorers, 500 goals in the same year. Anyway, Rocket Richard was the first. The record for goals was held by Nell Stewart before Rocket Richard came in. Now, Rocket Richard did not start out that well. He had a little bit of a slump in fact, for the first few years. He almost went to the war, World War II, but they didn't want any French players. And then, obviously, he was not doing so well. But once he changed his number from 17 to 9 to celebrate his daughter's birth week, he decided to do better. And he went well. He went well with Toe Blake and Everlock becoming the Rocket Light, or the Punch Light, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, the Punch Light. So the Habs were streaking. In the 40s and 50s, they were starting to become a quiet dynasty and all that. Because the Leafs in the late 40s were good. And then by the 50s, the Habs picked up steam and all that. Montreal had a dark period before Rocket Richard was a superstar. Between 1931 and 1944, they didn't win a Stanley Cup. It was their longest drought of Stanley Cups up till the current one. But anyway, Montreal was struggling. But Rocket Richard helped out. As we all know, he was famous in Quebec for leading the Quiet Revolution, in a sense. Because in 1955, when he got suspended by Clarence Campbell, well, the shit hit the fan. So, logically, things were going to get broken. So, Rocket Richard hit his 500th goal against the Chicago Blackhawks. And in 1957, like the late 50s, the Blackhawks were just putrid. The Hawks were so bad that when the labor problems happened about the Players Association, each team sent their troublemaker to Chicago, in a sense. It actually worked out against the teams, because most of those players actually helped the Blackhawks win the 1961 Stanley Cup, although it took 49 years for another one for the franchise. So anyway, Rocket Richard did it off of Glenn Hall of the Blackhawks. Glenn Hall was traded from Detroit to Chicago, but I don't think this was to do with the labor thing. But yeah, he did it. The second player to hit 500 goals was Gordie Howe, March of 1962, off of Gump Worthley of the Rangers, while he was with the Red Wings. Can't remember. Who was the first guy? I think it was Boston. I can't remember. I'm just thinking, who was the first guy to break? Oh no, it was Gordie Howe, obviously. Breaking Rocket Richard's thing first. Anyway, didn't matter. Bobby Hall was the third guy to hit 500 goals, scoring February 1970 for the Blackhawks against Eddie Giacomin and the New York Rangers. Jean Beliveau was fourth, scoring 500 goal against Minnesota's Gilles Chabert on February 11, 1971. Frank Mahovlich got number 500 in March of 73 with the Habs against Dunk Wilson of the Canucks. Phil Esposito knocked number 500 in December 1974 against Jim Rutherford of the Red Wings while he was with the Bruins. Johnny Busick did it October 1975 for the Bruins against Yves Belanger and the Blues. Stan Mikita, February 1977, got his 500th goal against Cesar Manico. of the Canucks. Marcel Dion was next in December 1982, doing it for the Kings against Al Jansen of the Caps. Guy Lafleur's 500th goal was for the Habs against the Devils and Chico Rush. Mike Bossy got his 500th goal January 1986 against the Bruins in an empty net. Gilbert Perreault got number 500 March of 1986 against Alan Chevrier of the Devils. Wayne Gretzky, November 86, got his 500 goal against the Canucks in an empty net for the Oilers. Lanny McDonald did it March of 1989 for Calgary against Mark Fitzpatrick of the Islanders. Brian Trottier got number 500 for the Islanders February 1990 against Rick Walmsley of the Flames. Kind of ironic because, you know, the last 500 goal scorer before Trottier did it against the Islanders. Mike Gardner got 500 goal as a Ranger against Mike Lee at the Capitals. Michel Goulet got his 500th goal as a member of the Blackhawks February 92 against Jeff Reese of the Flames. Yori Curry got his 500th goal October 92 for the Kings in an empty Bruins net. Dino Ciccarelli, his 500th goal was in 94 with Detroit against Kelly Hrudey of the Kings. Mario Lemieux in 95, October 95, did it for the Penguins against the Islanders at Tommy Soderstrom. Mark Messier got number 500 November 95 as a Ranger against Rick Taparachi of the Flames. Poor Flames, they've always been a bit. Steve Yzerman got number 500 January 96 against Patrick Waugh in the Avalanche. Dale Hawerchuk, when he played for St. Louis, got 500 goal against Leafs and Felix Patten. Brad Hall got his 500th goal December 96 against Stéphane Fiset of the Kings. Joe Bolin got number 500 March 14th, 1997 in Pittsburgh against Patrick Waugh of the Avalanche. Ironically, the next day, March 15th, Dave Vanderchuk got his 500 goal for the Devils against Bill Ranford of the Capitals. Luke Robitaille got number 500 January 99 for the Kings against Dwayne Willison and the Sabres. Hanford Beak got his 500th goal March 2000 for the Red Wings against Brett Brathwaite of the Flames. What is it about the Flames? Ron Francis got number 500 January 2002 as a member of the Canes against Brian DeVoe of the Bruins. Brandon Shanahan. Get that? Okay. Joe Sakic, December 2002 for the Avalanche against Dan Cloutier of the Canucks. Joe Newnight got his 500th goal January 2003 for the Devils against Kevin Weeks of the Canes. Jaromir Jagr got his 500th goal February 2003 for Washington against John Graham of the Lightning. Pierre Turgeon got his 500th goal November 2005 for the Avalanche against Vesa Toscana with the Sharks. Then Matt Sundin, October 2006, did it for the Leafs against Mika Kiprasov. That was the famous game in which he got a hat trick for it. Timo Solani, November 2006, got his 500th goal for the Ducks against Jose Tanador of Colorado. Peter Baudreau's 500th goal was scored again for the Blackhawks December 2006 against J.S. O'Bann of the Leafs. Mark Recchi, January 2007, scored his 500th goal for the Penguins against Marty Turco of the Stars. And Mike Modano got his 500th goal in March 2007 for Dallas against Antero Ninimaki of the Flyers. All told, the 2006-2007 season saw Sundin, Solani, Bondra, Recchi, and Modano all put their 500th goal on the board. Five. Jeremy Roenick, November 2007, got his 500th goal for the Sharks against Alex Old of the Coyotes. Keith Tkachuk's 500th goal was into an empty Blue Jackets net for the Blues. Jerome McGinley, 500th goal, January 2012 for Calgary against Nick Backstrom of the Wild. Alex Ovechkin's 500th goal was January 2016 against Andrew Hammond of the Senators for the Capitals. Marian Hossa got number 500 for the Blackhawks against Michael Neuvert of the Flyers, October 2016. February 2017, Patrick Marleau got his 500 goal for the Sharks against Ryan Miller of the Canucks. And just recently, February 2022, for the Penguins, Sidney Crosby got his 500 goal against Carter Hart in the Flyers. So yeah, 46 players got their 500th goal. If you want to know who the fastest was, Wayne Gretzky got the fastest, 500 goals in 575 games. Mario Lemieux second with 605 games to do that, and Mike Bossy third, 647. So yeah, Richard is actually the ninth fastest to 500 goals. He scored 500 in 863. Only Gretzky, Lemieux, Bossy, Hall, Red Hall, Ovechkin, Esposito, Curry, and Bobby Hall beat him to the punch. That's amazing with 46 people. So yeah, Richard still has top 10. That's good, isn't it? Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond.